I got grabbed by a ghost and I have the evidence to prove it. Before I went on my trip to Washington, I posted a video on YouTube about a paranormal investigation I did with my bestie Nate at our local historical jail. That jail is known to be really haunted, and I have wanted to investigate there for a while now. So when I went with Nate, it was my first time investigating at the old jail. The jail was built in 1818 and was used as the jail until the 1970s. So at one point, we broke out into breakout sessions, so it was just Nate and I. Nate and I at that time were supposed to go to the male jail cells, so that's where we were at. And after not getting a lot of contact, we moved on to William Reed's cell. William Reed was the last person in our county to be hanged, so he had his own special cell on the other side away from all the other male cells. When Nate and I got into William Reed's cell, we automatically felt claustrophobic, and that's not just because it was a jail cell, but also because it felt like there was a presence with us, and it didn't feel like just one presence, it felt like a whole group of people, if that makes sense. We started to make a bit of contact. We could then tell that there actually was a couple different spirits, because what was coming through didn't make much sense. It felt like there was a couple different conversations going on at one time, and it was kind of confusing. Well, shortly after starting this conversation, it went south pretty quickly, and one of the spirits actually told us to leave. And I don't know about you, but when I'm told by a spirit to leave, I leave. I am not staying because I don't want to mess around with something that doesn't want me there, and I also want to be respectful to the spirits that I'm trying to communicate with. So if I'm told to leave, I will leave. And Nate and I immediately started leaving the room. We were like, okay, thank you for talking to us. We're leaving now. So as we left the cell, we had to walk down a hallway before we left that area. Well, Nate and I both said that we felt like we were being chased out of the cell. Like, it felt like we were being chased by a group of spirits, and that was crazy. Then, all of a sudden, we heard the spirit box say grab. And I felt like I was actually grabbed on the shoulder. But because the spirit box said grab, in my head I was just like, oh, well, I'm only thinking that I was grabbed because the spirit box said grab. So I kind of ignored it at first, and Nate and I just kind of continued on. But I started to notice that my arm started to feel like it was burning. And honestly, me being who I am, still kind of pushed it off for a little bit until the burning started to get to a point where I was like getting annoyed and went to check my arm to make sure that I wasn't like bit by something. Sorry, I moved the camera because the sun is getting annoying. So once the burning got to a point that I just couldn't ignore it anymore, I actually lifted up my shoulder and I discovered that I actually had marks on me. So that's when I told Nate, and he was like, oh my gosh, what is going on? So we freaked out for a little bit, and then he actually took the camera to show everybody. So we actually did get those marks on camera. I'll insert that clip right here.
Guys, Nate's taking over for a second because as we were